Before we start off, who's using Canvas right now? A quick poll. Most of the people. Who is Canvas curious? A couple of them. And who has never used Canvas? A few newbies. Okay, great. I prefer a dialogue. So if you have any questions during a presentation, feel free to interrupt and ask them right away. That's a lot easier. So I'm going to talk about delivering student success with more students and less time. It's going to be a hefty ride, so buckle up or fasten your seatbelts. I'm teaching in Brussels University, Erasmus University College, and I'm teaching these two subjects. These are my main subjects, so that's basically filming and editing or putting design into motion. I also work as a freelancer for national television, so I practice what I preach, right? My students love it. If I'm editing something for TV, I can talk about it the next day with my students, and that's a very good thing, keeps you sharp. It's an ideal combination. I also love teaching. I've been doing it, I think, almost this week for 15 years. That's quite a lot. And I've kept up because I combine the two, the practice, the real-world practice, and also the teaching and the contact with the students. I love teaching, but a couple of things have changed in my experience. First of all, larger classes. Who has the same problem? That the classes keep growing larger, a couple of people? Yeah, great. Also, the increasingly diverse abilities of my students. I have really a lot of Lisa Simpsons and also a lot of Bart Simpsons. And they're growing apart. And also my students are far more demanding. Like, she was waiting for 5 weeks for feedback. They're even emailing me if I just made an assignment. Where's my feedback, right? They've put their heart and their soul into it, and so they ask a lot more students. And also, as a human race, we're pushing things forward, and things we know more, so we have more things to teach, and also the things we're teaching are sometimes getting more complex. And then add to this, less time. Did I forget anything? Would you like to add something that's affecting your class? These cover, I think, a lot of things. If we switch to literature, and it's really a coincidence for people who are paying attention. This is a book I love, Essentials for Blended Learning. Something you notice? We didn't know beforehand, Jared, right? The first time I gave this presentation was in CanvasCon, and we met there for the first time. It's a great book, a great analysis, and also really a guide to set you on the path for designing your blended courses. I'm focusing, so it comes down to the changing world, changing learners. I'm focusing on two things. The first thing, that digital is a new normal. I won't go into that one. And then the penultimate one, the last but one, consuming. We're moving from consuming to creating. That's a very important one for my practice. So I'm teaching a new course, audiovisual design, and would like to connect with my students. So I ask them a very basic question. Send me a URL of a thing you would like to produce or to know more about, right? And so skip this version, thanks. This is our LMS, and this is the live question. So how's your Dutch, by the way? There are a couple of colleagues from Holland, so I'm not going to question that one. Wat voor soort productie zou je graag willen maken? Really, what kind of a production would you like to make? And I have 19 submissions, right? So I'd like to see as a teacher, I'm going to click this one, and then I would like to download my submissions. It's a bit confusing, and it says in the corner here, download submissions. Okay, let's do that. It's downloading, it's a live demo, I'm opening up, and this is what I get, right? I had 19 submissions, and I have 5 over here, and also a folder, with another folder, with another folder, right? And if I add these 7 with the 5 other ones, I end up with 12 submissions. I had 19. It took me half a day to get all my submissions out of this most basic question. Send me URL, right? So how many times do you want to repeat this experiment as a teacher? You do it only once, right? So I think it's this very short demo will prove the point that if your LMS system is not reliable, not very powerful, and not granny-proof, you're never going to use it. You know, if you're teaching, and I love teaching, you know you're in front of a pack of wolves that are ready to eat you alive. If something goes wrong, you're never going to do it again. It's already hard enough as it is, right? To engage them, to have them with you, to follow them on your path, and so on. So my mantra for teaching is learning by doing. I'm a autodidact, so basically I learned myself how to edit and how to film and how to edit. It took me, well, I think more than 15 or more than 20 years, so it's easier to do it in a proper school, which I'm doing right now. But still, learning by doing, I'm not the only one. Tell me and I will forget, show me and I may remember, involve me and I will understand. So we're in good company. And this is a graph from Jared and Charles's book, The Bloom's Taxonomy. It's an interesting thing. At the basis, we have remembering, then understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating, right? It's put here as a kind of a hierarchy. I think certain things are put next to each other more. It's not necessarily a hierarchy. I believe in a healthy mix of things to remember, things to know, things to analyze, and also to create certain things. And this enables students to have a higher retention of certain topics I would like them to grasp and to fully know. So let's turn to the student perspective of things. This is my Canvas course. It's a live course. Audiovisual design. It's from last year because I'm starting my new course next week. And so what do we have? We have like a lecture. We have a hands-on lab. It looks like this. I tend to make pictures of my notes on the blackboard so they are fully aware of the things they have to know. So this was about pre-production and production, stuff like this. Also about storyboarding, a couple of examples and so on. And it's always hands-on, so a lot of assignments. I'm very, very, very fond of the assignments because it's easy to do in this LMS system. So an introductory movie, make a movie of yourselves. You have 3 hours to do it. You have a camera. Even your phone is a camera right now. Shoot it, edit it, deliver it. 3 hours time. And they do it. They don't have any problem with it. And it's very efficient to get them started. They know what they have to do. There's a deadline. It counts for 3 points. They have to submit a website URL and so on. Then from the teacher perspective, so this is from a teacher perspective, introductory movie, that's it. I want to download my submissions. It's gathering all my files, and here, this is really heaven. One push of the button, I have a zip file. I download my zip file, and I'm ready to go and to assign, to grade or review all my submissions. Do you want to see one? Yes? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, never mind, right? They're all good if they're still live. I'm already very, very satisfied with this one. It's a stable image. He's using different close-up and medium shot and so on, but I won't get into my, into my stuff. It would take us too far, right? Okay, another thing, if I'm doing a lot of submissions, and yeah, also what I forgot to mention, what you've probably noticed is I'm using 2 browsers. I'm using Firefox, and this one I'm using to enter a fake student, right? To see what the student is experiencing. The Chrome browser I'm using as a teacher. So this is my design browser, let's say, and then I have my student browser just to experience, first of all, to test if things are working correctly, as I intended them to do, and also to see what the student is experiencing. And that's extremely, extremely useful. I would recommend it to everyone. Use 2 browsers, 2 logins, yes. Yes, you do have you as a student, but it's a bit limited if you're providing feedback, right? So I want to have the full experience. It's true, you have the student view, works perfectly, but it's a bit too limiting, especially for live feedback. How does it come through? If things are live, yes or no. You know, you have the button publish or modules, but well, sometimes you oversee certain things and so on. Great question, thanks. So I'm giving feedback. No, where was I? Assignments, right? So I have a lot of assignments. And for the students, they know what they have to do. These are my tests, and these are the assignments they have to do. With a clear deadline, they know for what part of the final grade it will count, and so on. And this is a really important one, I think. This is the calendar view of the deadlines. And if you haven't noticed, there is a wonderful button, but not on this. Oh, yes, there is. Down here, calendar feed, right? So everybody can sync their calendar with the assignments, with the calendar on their personal agendas and their personal phone. Very, very powerful. I would recommend this to anyone. Okay, let's switch to the teacher side then. I use for this, I also did some experiments with blended learning and online colleges. So this is online. There's a little introduction movie I made myself, I think.
In werkcollege 2 ga je leren werken met foto's, effecten en keyframes binnen Premiere Pro.
It was already very late, so I think my voice was gone completely by that time. So this is also in the student view. I record it and I show them where they find things and so on, where they can sort anything out. Also with the introductory movie, this one over here, you'll probably have noticed that I do have a lot of self-made movies how to edit. So I'm doing screencasts myself. Screencasts are an extremely powerful way of communicating, especially software skills, and also to make sure they're on the same level, right? I found them extremely powerful. Anyone has experience with making screencasts? Yeah, you prefer that? Oh, a lot of people, that's great. I have, you want me to go deeper into that one? Certain people? No? Okay, let's move on. True, because this is one of the sites, it's very labor intensive, right? And especially if Adobe changes their interface every week, right? You can re-record, redo your screencast every weekend. I think we have better things to do. So I'm a big fan of sites like this. Lynda.com, who's not familiar with Lynda? I think most people are. It's a very powerful site with a lot of instructional movies. And so I use it in my courses.
Images are often wonderful additions to many video projects.
Professionally made, also on educational technology, very powerful stuff in there. So as you've noticed, I have links in my colleges and they have to review certain movies, right? I'm going to switch back to...
licensing.
Sorry?
Licensing.
Licensing, yeah, that was my next question. What do you think? So the power of screencast, I won't convince you. It's 36. What? 36 what?
Not 42.
Further, sorry?
Not 42.
Not 42, that was 36. What did I say? So it's in euros and dollars or in pounds. I think it's equaling out right now. No, it's 36 euros. For one course, no, for the whole library. It's extremely powerful. So we have students with different starting levels or different interests. The ones who are the Bart Simpsons, let's say, if they're not following along, I can direct them to more basic movies. The ones who want to go further, I can direct to more difficult movies and so on. So it's a very powerful thing. The feedback has been tremendous. The students love it. But they do say, sending us to a site with videos is not teaching. I had a very bad second semester last year, and that's what they told me. Okay, that was my problem. I have to fix it. So that's what we're going to do starting next week. Giving feedback. So I have a lot of movies, a lot of assignments. I'm giving feedback in a couple of ways. Written. So this is, I'm also teaching at a film school, so that's not the large classes. Written feedback, very labor intensive. A very useful one is the audio feedback. So if you record a audio comment. For the people who don't speak Dutch, do you think it was positive or not? There's like a very small hesitation. It was a bad message, right? I think, okay, thanks for your submission, but it was, yeah. Never mind. These are all live, so please, if you publish them, blur out the names because these are real students. I love them dearly, I do. So for this assignment is make and film a scene, right? Very short scene. This is the second week or the third week that they do it. And they get richtlijnen, help me out, my Dutch. Guidelines, yeah, sorry. What we're going to do, arm wrestling, right? And this, just to make sure how I'm gonna go through all my submissions, I've made a rubric, right? So LSD is a very short rule I developed. It's light, stability, and the rule of thirds. So the, how you put something in a frame. En derdesregel in Dutch. And also a great article from a BBC journalist that I have to know and adopt to the practice. So that's good. I have variations on the rubric. So if I'm in Speedgrader, my Speedgrader is my friend, right? I can see the submission, view the rubric, and simply click, and that's it, right? And save it, and so this is the feedback for the students. Who uses this feature for Canvas? Yeah. It's very powerful, can save you a lot of time, but I do think there are a couple of shortcomings. First of all, it generates the same grades. If it's really extensive, everybody gets a 12 out of 20, more or less. And also, I think it stifles the creativity of the students. You know, students are very creative, right? They're a shortcut-savvy bunch, I've written down. If they're going to take a shortcut, they're going to do it. And so they go through the rubric and they say, okay, I'm going to gain this mark if I do this and so on. And so they're getting lazy. And so I made a little variation on the rubric. That's given me a bit more flexibility. So it's the same thing. You see light, stability, and the rule of thirds is still there. And then the more, the better, and so on. So I have a couple of things they have to adhere to. And I give it to my students as well. It's, well, the name's not on there, but it's actually a personalized feedback sheet, you could say. So Kitty Bonds, for instance, did a really good job for editing a montage about Celine. I still do it on paper. Any paper fans in here? No? Ooh, it's all digital? Yeah. I think paper is a great thing. It has a great boot time, never crashes, battery runs forever, right? Where am I? Okay, this is Celine, and so on. The chat feature, so what I did is scan the things and give them back to my students as a way of showing how they are progressing with their, this was a little bit less successful. Okay, how am I doing time-wise? Jared promised you a bit of ARC. Of course, I'm teaching an audiovisual subject, so ARC comes as a natural second thing, right? A video platform. I've been using YouTube up to now, and I was also using the Free for Teacher account for, I think, 3 or 4 years. So thank you, guys. It's a great business model to test out a new LMS. It works perfectly. If you're in doubt or if you want to show it to a colleague, it's a perfect thing to do. The only problem with YouTube links is the students are in charge. So if they cut their account or they remove a video, it's gone, right? That's one of the things that ARC is solving, but especially for giving feedback. So this is from the film school, once again. I have several submissions. So I give them the rough material. Oh, yeah. A live demo is also always good, right? I give them the rough material, and then they have to edit a certain piece with it. All right, this is going good. It's from a children's show. So the whole thing is about building tension, right? I'm going to translate for you. Building tension. And so I can give students time-based feedback, which is incredibly powerful, right? But of course you say, yeah, for video editing, sure, it's powerful. But also to give them instructional movies, to track who has seen the movie, who has not, because everything of my other movies is on YouTube. There's analytics on YouTube as well. I have 150 students, and I have 80 views. So something didn't add up, right? Also, the versioning thing, very, very powerful, right? And I still do written feedback and so on. This was another one. You want to see it? Yeah, sorry for that. So it's about a typical school situation, I think in Belgium. Any questions on that one? What I've shown so far? Interesting stuff? You like it? Okay, that's good. For the quizzes, I'm a big fan of quizzes. I think quizzes are an integral part of the learning journey, right? And so I tend to be very creative with my quizzes. I'm going to show you one. Also, the ability to give it to different sections, so different groups. I always protect my quizzes with an access code. Where is it? Yeah, the quizzing that I'm teaching, so that's a multimedia course, they have to bring their own device. Most of the time, it's also bring your own disaster, right? Anyone has any experience with that one? It's tough. Easy solution. What do we do? Fail them? Is that what you said? No. I didn't get it, sorry.
He said paper.
Paper, yeah, a bit difficult, the video thing, yeah, sure, paper, yeah, you got me there, okay. No, we just have a spare computer at hand, right? So a couple of spare computers and an IT department that supports you. Amen. The IT guys at our department, they are golden. If you can send students with a license that's gone bad or a computer that's not working, just send them to the department. So you're not losing time as a teacher. So it's bring your own device. It's always, in my lessons, open notes if they are self-made and handwritten. Any logic behind that? It's difficult.
Replicating is remembering.
Yeah, replicating, it's a way of learning, right? It's replicating, it's remembering. If they put in the effort of closing down their computers and taking notes, they can use it on any test, on any exam, right? And it's also a way of learning your stuff. Do they do it? What do you think? No, they don't. It's a pity. It's really a pity. Make your own cheating tables, right? It's also open application. So if they want to use Premiere Pro or whatever software they want to use, they can use it, right? It's open application, open notes, because I tend to do open book as well. But you know how they interpret the open book? We're going to open the book for the first time on the exam, right? That was not the goal I was aiming for. So, and it's multiple choice, open answer, and also a lot of creation questions. And they're always timed, so there's a timer on it. They hate it, but still. So let's have a look at the quiz. So this is a screen capture from Premiere Pro. They get a situation, and then they have statements. The project is named Lezen, and so on. There's sound and video in the clips. So they can open up Premiere and just test it out. If they have been doing the assignments and doing the things we've been practicing during class, it's easy peasy, right? Text as well. This is a creation question, so make a new Premiere Pro project. I want you to make a workspace audio, make a screen capture, right? That's very powerful. You know, in Mac, it's also on PC, sorry. You just grab like this, choose a file from your desktop. And also for these things, if it's a bit challenging, I practice them beforehand. With a test that doesn't count, we go through all those steps, right? For everything. So they feel at ease. They're not up for surprises. Also a lot of movies. So there are certain things happening. They can replicate it and ask what's happening, what's going on, right? And then if I'm turning to Speedgrader, and who's a fan of Speedgrader? Any fans of Speedgrader? Oh my God, it's a major time saver. And so when you do like multimedia-rich applications or multimedia-rich quizzes and assignment like this, Speedgrader is really a godsend thing to go through. So I have all my, this is student Mike. And if I want to check out his screen capture, just goes like this. Sometimes it opens up automatically. This is indeed in the audio workspace, so I can give feedback and so on, right? Great stuff. And this allows me to really focus on doing by learning, hands-on training. I have 5 tests, 10 assignments, and 150 students. I don't have to draw a picture that's really labor intensive to do so, but this enables it. And I'm very glad for. I was looking for a solution, and when I came across Canvas, I tested it out, put it through its paces, and it has never failed me. It's amazing. I don't know how you do it, but it's never failed me, right? And that's what you mentioned. Someone mentioned it works, and it simply works, and that's a great thing. And it allows me as a teacher to be a teacher again. The only thing I want to do is teach, right? And practice and work for TV, and then teach my students. I don't want to be losing time with things that are unnecessary and so on. So this is also a live gradebook, a lot of things. I just wanted to give you one shortcut, anyone. So let's navigate to my fake student. Where is she? Kim de Vos. If she's not present, right? So she missed montage. Celine, anyone? What can we put in here? She was absent because she was sick, so she's an X, and that's a wonderful thing, right? Who knew about the X? A lot of people? Oh, a couple of people, so you learned something, that's good, right? If you put in an X, it doesn't count for the grade, right? So she's properly excused. Otherwise, in your Excel, you had to recalculate everything, and it counts for that grade, and so on. Wonderful feature. Okay, I think I'm almost through. We went very, very quickly. With my colleagues, we made the calculation, and doing your assignments and the tests with Speedgrader is factor 3, more efficient in any way, right? So that's really very powerful. Gradebook we've been through very shortly. Oh yeah, a couple of things for gradebook still. The old LMSs were used as a way of distributing documents and also to organize your email tsunami, right? That's what we did with the old LMSs. So I'm very glad that Canvas has a very efficient way of not only doing document distribution, of course, and also announcements, but also the quizzes and a lot of assignments. But this one, if you want to message students who, yeah, it's not working now today. Why? Okay. Within the Speedgrader, it's possible to message students who, for instance, didn't submit anything or passed their grade, didn't pass, and so on. Okay. For large groups, let technology work for you, right? For collecting your assignments, for you need a rock-solid LMS, as Canvas is proved to be. For diverse abilities, the screencasts and also things like Lynda.com and other solutions help me to diversify, right? To make sure the Bart and Lisa Simpsons are still on the boat. And for demanding students, a lot of assignments and a lot of quizzes, it puts their learning in their hands, and they really like it, right? And then we have less time, and that's, for instance, where Speedgrader comes in. That's it, what I have for you today. I have a couple of things left. If there's still questions for me, shoot, and so on. If you don't have any more questions for you, I thank you for your attention. Yeah.